I woke up from sleep to find daylight streaming through the gaps in the shutters, casting parallel lines on the ceiling and walls of my room. I tried to get up but ached from sore muscles. I had spent the previous day at the gym, and it seemed I had pushed myself too hard. The weather was hot, and even though I slept without my pajama top, wearing only a short-sleeved white undershirt, I was still somewhat sweaty. I heard voices in the living room, likely my mother and sister chatting as usual. Their conversation would undoubtedly revolve around today's meal. My mother would probably ask me to go buy vegetables for her. She is never satisfied, often sending me back to the vendor after inspecting the produce she doesn't like. The vendor is used to this by now and always reminds me not to take too long returning before he's out of stock. I leaned over to find my slippers under the bed. The room wasn't bright enough, so I turned on the light, stretched my torso and arm to reach them, feeling a pain in my back and stiffness in my hand. Curse those intense workouts, but what can I do? I like to keep my body strong and well-toned. A little pain that will pass quickly is worth it. I slipped my feet into my slippers, then turned to leave, and nearly jumped out of my skin when I saw my father in the room. I screamed and closed my eyes, asking him how long he'd been there. He didn't respond, so I opened the door and turned back. I turned back to see if he would leave with me, still frightened and looking down. When he didn't answer, I looked up at him, only to find he wasn't there. I screamed and struggled to get out, dragging my feet in pain and fear. In the living room, I found a woman sitting on the couch, peeling vegetables. She crossed herself when she heard my scream, seeking refuge from the devil. I stood before her, looking around, and asked, "Who are you? And what are you doing here?" She laughed and said, "As you can see, I'm peeling vegetables." I asked her about my mother and sister. She told me they would be back soon. She asked me to calm down. She put down what she was holding and stood up. I asked where she was going and told her not to wander around the apartment. She smiled and said she was going to make me some tea with milk. I asked how she knew I drank tea with milk in the morning. She replied that my mother had requested it. "Oh, Mom, can you not stop with these antics? Where did you even find this woman? She doesn't seem too bad, but she's rather stout and moves with difficulty. I don't know what's happening. Every day, she brings in someone stranger than the last." The woman brought me the tea and placed it beside me. I let it cool a bit, then lifted the cup. My muscles ached, and my hand trembled, nearly spilling the tea. The woman got up with difficulty and offered to help. I snapped at her, calling her crazy. I felt sorry afterwards. She's my mother's age, and I shouldn't have acted that way. I heard a sound coming from my sister's room. Suddenly, my sister came out and greeted me with a good morning. I returned the greeting and told her that this woman claimed she had gone out with Mom. My sister glanced at the woman, who nodded to her, and then said that she had gone out and come back because Mom had something to take care of and would be back soon.